When I was 27 years old, I left a very demanding job in management consulting for jobs that were even more demanding. Teaching. I went to teach 7th grader math in New York City public schools. And like any other teachers, I gave out tests and homeworks, and when the work came back, I calculated the grades. What struck me the most was that IQ was not the only difference between my best and my worst student. Some of my strongest performers doesn't have a stratospheric IQ scores, and some of my smartest kids were doing so well. And that got me thinking, the kind of things you need to learn in 7th grade math, so they are hard, ratio, decimal, the area of the parallelogram, but the concepts are not impossible, and I was firmly convinced that every one of my students could learn the material if they worked hard and long enough. After several years teaching, I came to the conclusion that what we need in education is a much better understanding of student and learning from a motivational perspective, from a psychological perspective. In education, I don't think we know how to measure bad IQs. But what if doing well in school and life depend more on what your ability to learn well and easily? So I left the classroom and I went to graduate school to become a psychologist. I started studying kids and adults in all kinds of super challenging settings. And in my research, my question was, who is successful here and why? My research team went to West Point Military Academy. We tried to break with cadets would stay and we would drop out. We went to a national spelling bee contest and tried to predict which children would advance farthest in the competition. We studied rookie teachers working in really top neighborhoods, asking which teacher are still going to be here teaching in the end of the school years, and observe who will be the most effective at improving learning outcome of the students. In all those very different contexts, one characteristic that as a significant predictor of success, and it wasn't social intelligence, and it wasn't good looks, and neither the physical health, and either IQ. It was grit. Grit is a passion and perseverance for very long-term goals. Grit is having stamina. Grit is sticking with your future, day in, day out, not just for the week, not just for the month, but for years. And working you have to make that future a reality. Grit is living like it's a marathon, not a sprint. A few years ago, I started studying grit in Chicago public schools. I asked thousands of high school juniors to take grit questionnaire and then waited around more than a year to see who would graduate. Turns out, the grittier kid was significantly more likely to graduate. Even when I matched them on every critic I could measure, things like family income, standardized achievement test scores, even kids, how safe the kid felt when they were at school. So it was just a great boy military academy or spelling bee contest that grade matters. It also in school for especially for kids a risk of dropping out. To me, the most shocking thing about it is how little we know, how little science knows about building it. Every day, parent teachers ask me, how do I build it in my kids? What do I do to teach kids to show a solid ethic? How do I keep them motivated for a long run? And the honest answer is, I don't know. What I do know is that talent doesn't make you greedy. Our data show very clear that there are many talented individuals who simply do not follow through on their commitments. In fact, in our data, grit is usually unrelated or even inversely related to measure of talent. So far, the best idea I've heard about building a grit in kids is something called growth mindset. This is an idea developed school at Stanford University by Carol Dweck, and it is a belief that the ability to learn is not fixed, that it can change with your effort. The research shows that in response to challenge, they are much more likely to persevere when they fail because they don't believe that failure is a permanent condition. So, growth mindset is a great idea for building grit, but we need more. And that's where I'm going to end my remarks because that's where we are. That the work that stands before us. We need to measure whether we've been successful, and we have to be willing to fail, to be wrong, to start all over again with the lessons learned. In other words, we need to be more gritty if we want our kids to be grittier. Thank you.